Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 12 here in our Sky Fabrication Sky Base. Today, we're going to be working on continuing right where we left off at the end of the last episode. It's been about 2 weeks since I was able to record. I had a good time on my vacation, but I am slowly getting back into playing games. So the first thing I thought we would start off with today is just heading into the Nether again to use our newly made silk pick that we made at the end of the last episode to get some things so we can set up a Shroomlight farm. So last time we were there, we had found a place that had... Pigman, don't knock me off, please. That had nylium that we could use to grow trees to get the Shroomlights, but we didn't have a way to get the nylium and bring it back. So we're going to head over and I'm going to grab a little bit of that and we'll come back and we'll set up some kind of automated farm for it. Made our way back down over here to where we found the nylium. I just want to call it a warped forest, maybe. I guess it's the biome that we're in, but it's just a giant block full of it. So I built a little room here that's real short, so that because there are endermen spawning around here, I actually managed to kill one of them. It's got me an ender pearl, which is nice. I'm going to use that in a little bit, but there are other things here, so I just want to make sure we get it all cleared out before I start harvesting everything, because I don't really want to have to run back here if I die. So we're going to work on getting things cleared out from the top to the bottom. Just grab everything we can here and get it all taken back. I cleared out our backpack so I can just throw stuff in, and this is from one of the ships that I cleared out along the way getting here. But I'm just going to collect a bunch of things, and I will we'll meet up back at the main base, unless there's something interesting that we find in here. These dogs are the real problem. They are really dangerous to me right now, because they hit hard, set us on fire, and they just do not want to die. We need to get better weaponry. Okay. Alright. I'll meet you once we get all this stuff done and head back. We did find something kind of interesting hidden in here. There was some redstone, so I came over. There is a spawner that spawns striders, and there's a couple of chests next to it. I found it kind of by accident, because I was vein mining above us, and I didn't think about the fact that we were standing on the same type of block, and I fell down, and I landed right here, which was really, really convenient, because otherwise I would have died. But it saved us, so I'm going to grab these things and throw them in our backpack. We'll sort everything out when we go back. Good thing we made some extra space, because we have a lot of things to put in here. Okay. Let me get some more repairs done on tools. I don't think I'm going to harvest everything here, because it's mostly just the same. And what I did grab is, I got some of the nylium from up there, and that we can spread, so we don't need to take all of it, just in case for some reason we need to come back and get more later. I'm gonna make sure I'm standing on nylium. Just grabbing a bunch of this wood just to clear out areas to make sure that we have everything collected. Let's do this one too. But I saw that there was some more redstone under here, so I wanted to see what that was. Dispenser with a couple of arrows in it. Looks like it's just a trap to try to get us. So these are kind of modeled after the like jungle temple design, where they have redstone throughout it with some traps and some treasures, which is kind of cool. Makes me want to explore some more of these in the Nether, but I think I'm still going to wait until I have some more resources. But I think we're just going to leave it at that instead of me staying here and harvesting a bunch. There's a lot more wood here. I may grab the stuff that I put in here last time, and then we'll just head back. I don't really need these swords. They're not really useful. They have, they're just stone swords, and then some gold swords, so nothing too fancy. So I'm just gonna take what I got, We're going to head back over to our main area, and we'll sort everything out, and we'll get started working on our Shroomlight farm. As is probably the case with a lot of create farms, there is a lot of time spent figuring out how to build everything before you actually build things. So I put together a bunch of different moving parts to get this farm up and running, and I'm going to show you several parts of it. It looks super complicated, but it's all pretty simple, just a lot of moving parts. So this is my solution for a Shroomlight farm. So there is the Nylium in the middle, where we have warped fungus getting planted, which is what we got from the Nether. So it uses a system that is all powered from one power source in Create, and I will show you that when we get down there. But these items are deployers. So deployers are basically like ways to place items into the world. So this deployer over here is fed by this hopper, which is full of warped fungus. And so it puts into the hand warped fungus items. Each one can hold 64, so it keeps it nice and stocked up. This is where the extras go. I don't have an automatic system up here for restocking this, so it won't go forever. But I don't need it to go forever. So basically, I put in as many warped fungus as I want, and the farm will continue to run until we run out of warped fungus. There is also a deployer. Ooh, I'm going to have to come back up. I just fell down. There's also a deployer on this side that deploys bone meal onto the warped fungus. So the warped fungus gets put down, bone meal keeps getting put onto it until it grows. Sometimes takes a whole bunch of warped or bone meal to get the warped fungus to grow, especially at nighttime. I think I might try to put in some more Shroomlights around, or maybe I will use a different type of lighting. The problem with the Shroomlights is that they will sometimes get harvested with the tree if the tree grows too low. But there we go, we got a tree to grow. So this mechanical bearing has a saw on it. If you see over here, it's a mechanical saw. Let me stand on top of this so we can see it. It goes through and it cuts down the tree. It has a chest here that stores all the items. I look for that one time. That time it grew really quick, so we can watch it again. And then there's an interface over there that connects. So the saw cuts first. It drops all the items in here. It goes through this interface over to there, and then it continues to cycle. And in that time, we've already had a new fungus placed down, and the bone meal is getting hit onto it. So it's just a matter of time before it does. The beauty of this system is that when we cut down a tree, we get the logs, we get the Shroomlights, but we also get all of these warped wart blocks, which we don't really need. So what we do with those is this system over here. So I have the storage interface is above, goes through a chute, which goes into a chest down here. In this chest, there are 3 brass funnels on each side. This one stores the Shroomlight, which puts them into this chest. This one stores the warped stems, which goes into this chest. And then we could also send them off to larger storage somewhere in the future, but you can see the filter filters them out. The last one sends the warped wart blocks up this conveyor belt. The warped wart blocks get put in through this funnel into this chest. And I also have a bunch of other things I've thrown in here, but this is basically stuff that is getting turned into bone meal. So all this chest does is it takes the items and it feeds them down this way into this chest up here. And this chest feeds it down through a composter, which feeds it to this chest. Then we have a funnel here that just puts bone meal out. I can actually replace that. Well, that's going to be an issue. We'll get to it when we get back up there. Just put an andesite funnel in there because we want everything to go out. Because only thing in there is going to be bone meal. So that's fine. And that bone meal gets sent up through this conveyor belt over here into this chest. This chest goes through these hoppers and comes over here. Ultimately, the bone meal makes it here, which gets fed back into this deployer. So the warp blocks self-power this farm. So it creates enough bone meal to keep it going. So as long as I have warped fungus to keep feeding in, it's going to continue to make more Shroomlights and more warp stems for us. There's also a line that comes off underneath here, and I have it set up with some blocks to block it because I don't need it to have that much, but it's pulling off bone meal, and that's going into this deployer. What that deployer down there is doing is that every once in a while, the nylium will turn to netherrack because the log is sitting on top of it, and it's very rare, but it does happen. And so what we do is I have another piece of nylium here, which won't ever get converted. And then when you bone meal it from the side, it will convert that piece of netherrack, if it converts to netherrack, back to nylium, which means we can plant again. So this is here just as a constant connection to make sure that the nylium stays nylium so we can keep planting. Pretty simple solution. Now, as far as the rotational force needed to run it, I just have one water wheel down here that's running at 256 stress units. Water running to spin it. It goes through a lot of different connections, and most of these belts down here are just connections to make things spin, but the connection goes all the way up to the top for the mechanical bearing. Then we pull off some rotational force over here to make the deployers all work. We also have other connections to keep the belts moving for all the items to go where they need to go. But everything in here, all the belts, all the deployers, mechanical bearings, everything is connected to just this one water wheel. And what that does is it produces a constant stream of Shroomlights, and then we have a constant stream of warp stems too. I don't know what I'm going to use these for. I know that they can be used for crafting wood objects. I don't think that you can burn them, though I have not looked that closely. You can use them in the colorful generator. You can use them to convert into living wood. We can use them for create stuff, but they don't have a burn time like charcoal, and you can't cook them into charcoal. Because otherwise we could use it to create an endless supply of fuel for us. But it doesn't look like we have that for an option. We'll find a way to use them for something useful. The other thing I built over here is this farm. And so let me grab some extra bone meal. The bone meal, when it stocks up in this hopper. I'm just going to grab a stack and a half or so. So what this is when we need warped fungus to keep the farm running, if we come over here in this chest, we can throw in bone meal, and that bone meal gets fed all the way down into this dispenser. The chests are there just to make it so that we don't have to oh, it's currently powered, that's why it's not going in, and that's fine. It's just so we don't have to get underneath to put it into the dispenser. We wouldn't need that chest there at all. In fact, now that I think about it, it might be better if we don't have it, because those hoppers are going to get locked, which means our efficiency on this thing will not go that great. This is a farm that we only run on occasion. So if we just hop down in here to put the bone meal in, it'll be better. I'm going to put a block here. This just makes it so we can get down in to reach it better. We could get it from here. So actually, let's just do that. So we'll put the bone meal in there. We're going to be moving all of this into a permanent home soon anyway. But so what this is a pretty common vanilla warped fungus farm. So what we do here is we turn it on. It will shift the nylium back and forth, and at the same time it will bone meal from underneath. And so you can see it is creating plants on this 5x5 platform, and as soon as they're grown, the platform moves, which breaks them off. And so we can just keep running this, and I reach in under here pretty easily. It's coming from the back, so we're not dealing with the stuff moving. It'll keep running the bone meal until the bone meal runs out. We're not going to run it that long just because I'm just demonstrating. And then we'll turn it off so it stops moving. And then we can just go through, we can grab all the things that were dispensed. Let's put some stuff away so we can pick everything up. But we just run around and we grab everything. We could probably automate this and make it so it works in a way that could be fully automated, but it's not super necessary to do that. I'm going to drop down here so I can grab this. We'll leave that like that for now. And then all I do is I come up here, and on this side, we put in any warped fungus in here, and all the other items get thrown into here so that we can process them into bone meal. Oh, I don't want those in there. And the warped wart blocks come in so fast that we're barely able to catch up with it, but eventually it would catch up with itself. And so it'll keep going and making us more and more Shroomlights. So this is the kind of farm where it makes so much that we could let this running forever, or we could just go until we have so much and then turn it back on when we need it. So it's not a farm that needs to be constantly running. So we probably won't be constantly running it once we have what we need. But now we have automated access to Shroomlights, and we have automated access to warped stem, and we can also get a good deal of bone meal back out of it if we want to. It's weird it lets some of the warp blocks. I hope that doesn't cause any problems down the road. We may have to work on fixing that. I think it'll end up growing in such a way that it catches the other ones eventually, so it won't be that big of an issue. But if you just saw right there, the warped nylium turned into netherrack, and so the other system coming over here, hitting it with bone meal, turned it back into nylium so we could grow another warped fungus tree. And that doesn't use up a lot of bone meal because it only puts down a bone meal if it's converting it back. So the rest of the time it's just reaching out with the bone meal, and it sees it can't do anything, so it holds the bone meal in its hand. So we're all set with that. Let's sleep so we can get rid of this thunderstorm. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to have to get this farm and this farm all built into one building so that they're together. I don't know that I'm going to make a real big structure for it. I just want to put them somewhere where they are together and maybe clean up some of the things a little bit and work on a better way to store all the items. Because right now it's pretty compact, but I think I could do it just a little bit better. So I'm going to work on coming up with that design, and then we'll build that together. I moved everything over to the side here where I want to put this farm for its final spot, and I started putting things together just to figure out the spacing that I need. I made this a 7x7 space inside, just like the farm next to it. So I'm hoping to fit it all in there. So we have our spot here to grow our fungus. We have this saw coming here, and I made this a little more compact. So it's kind of the center of the thing. So it connects here, drops off items into here, and this is where the items go. So I tested all that, and that's working. So now I'm trying to work on figuring out how I want to do this. And I think I'm going to have the warped fungus, or warped warts, that's what it is, come up this way. And then we will have, should be a chest. We'll have a chest here with an andesite funnel onto it, which means that those items will go into there. And then the composter I have in my backpack, we could put here. And we're just going to use a regular hopper for this part of it. And then that would mean we put a chest here. With the bone meal coming out into there. And so since this just has bone meal in it, we don't need a funnel or a brass funnel. I mean, we just need a regular funnel. So let's figure out where we want this to go. So up here, we're going to have the two different things that need bone meal. So one of them, put this here. Here, one of them will be right there. So let's get that put into place. And it looks like the other one could be right underneath it. So I think we might need to come down here, place some blocks so we can easily get it facing the way we want. You can rotate them, obviously, but it's easier if you just place them and get them kind of situated the way you want. This is backwards, so I'll have to rotate it that way, but at least it's in the right facing orientation. Let's see, I want to rotate it this way. This way. And then as far as the gearing goes, I rotate that. If I rotate it this way, it does that. I'm trying to learn. There, that's how I want it. And then let's see if the other one is the same way. Yep. So that means that both of them, the shafts are lined up. So if I run a shaft to them, they will both run off of the same belt, which is great. So then we're going to have bone meal in both of those. I want to put one in each of these just to mark them so I know what they are. We will feed them in a minute. I think that that will do the job. And I think that it won't get in the way of that. Let's run this around once. See what it does. Yeah, so that's a nice, tight, compact little turn. And that will be fine. So then we need to get the bone meal to come from there up to these. And I think the best way to do that is going to be with having a just a couple of hoppers that it feeds into. So let's see, if I put a shaft here, then we want the shaft, the next one to be at an angle for it. So it could be there. Put a shaft there. Put a shaft there. Put a shaft there. Let's do that. Let's do it like this instead. So then we'll take this belt, connect that to that. Oh, we were one too high. Okay, let's fix that real quick. So we actually want the shaft to be here. And that means this shaft needs to be down one more as well. Actually, I think I want to do it here. Show you why in just a second. Let's get this belt on. Sure we have that lined up the way we want it. So we'll have a belt that goes from here to here. And that means we can put a funnel on here. Hoping I could hop right up on there. I couldn't. And then we put a chest here. It's not going to be high enough for what I want to do. Let's see. So if I go... I go up to this one instead. These can be a real pain to place sometimes too. I know I can rotate them. I need to just get used to rotating things. There we go. And then they're there this time. I am just starving to death here. Okay, so then that means I could put a chest here. Still not quite high enough for what I want. But I don't want to go around that. Like, I want this to be the edge of the farm. Let's put a funnel there, and then we'll do another one. So we need to put this like this, so that we can put a belt that goes from here. And then we'll go up one more. That's going to be really tight. Let me think about this one and figure out how I want to do it. Came a little more convoluted than I had originally planned, but I have the bone meal here. Goes up this belt. Get above, we can see it better up there. And then over there is a really short belt that just takes it across into this chest. And then from there, it goes up at an angle over to this chest. I was trying to find a way to make it so the belt could just continue there, but I couldn't figure it out. I may mess around with it. I don't know if you can have a belt that goes straight and then turns. You probably can, and I just don't know how to do it. And I may have to look at it. But for now, it works. Goes that way, goes into here. This chest sends it up this way, and then it starts to go into these hoppers here. So now any warped block stuff that goes in there will be handled. So let me put a bunch of this stuff away. Anything create related can go in the bag for the moment. We'll put that there too. Actually, no, that's gonna go in with. Put our food on the belt. Let's get rid of some of this stuff and throw it into a chest over here, just so we have some space to work with. That we may actually need. These will keep. And we know where to go if we are missing anything. So what I wanted inventory space is I have a bunch of this stuff here from the old farm. I want to get rid of it. So we're going to take this up here. We're going to drop it off into this chest over there. I can make my way over without it falling down. So that'll be just like it all got loaded up. So now we can let it go for a little while. Let it make some bone meal. See how it goes. I also have a chest full of bone meal here. And so that I can bring up here. Bone meal gets let into this chest. So we can drop it off in here. Let that get going. So the only thing that we don't have connected to make this farm work. Oh, and I wanted to show you. I had to do a whole bunch of gearboxing here to get the belts to go the right way. Because I needed one here to connect to this. I needed one up here that connects to this one. But I also needed it to rotate the other way. But I couldn't put that gearbox right there. Or it would connect there. A lot of convolution. We got it. Gearbox here connects there. The gearbox on this side is designed so that it sends a different. It rotates the other direction going to here, but it's with the flat side facing that way, so it doesn't connect to that belt. So a lot of tight spots to figure out. But the only thing left that we need to do is I need to connect this up to the rotation. So if we grab our shafts, I wonder if it could be as simple as connecting a belt. Is that at the right angle that I could do a belt to connect that shaft up? That's the wrong item. Doesn't look like it. That's okay. Let's do. Let's see, right here. We'll connect a belt that goes from here to here. Then I'm going to go up one more, and I'll do a belt that goes from here over to there. So this can go, this can go, this can go, this one can go. So now we have that main shaft is now rotating the bone meal systems. I think the top one just doesn't have bone meal in it yet, and that's why it's not moving. No, it has bone meal. Why is that not rotating? Let me try replacing this. See if that helps with the problem. I think I'm gonna close off the, or turn off this temporarily. Because I don't really want the mechanical saw bumping into me and killing me. So, lawyer. And then I need my wrench again. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, so let's get our empty hand. So we can click on this again and activate it. And then finally, I need to find a way to get this one to rotate. And that's going to be a little more difficult. So if I do that, I could probably have a belt come up from the top. Oh, water froze. That's a problem. I was like, why did my whole system stop working? That's going to be an issue. I didn't realize it was winter already. Let me take this off so that I can break these. Oh, actually, no, I can just break it. It'll turn into water again. And I need to put a torch there so that doesn't happen again. I'll probably put a Shroomlight or something eventually. So, last thing we need to figure out is I need a connection to this. Can I do a belt that goes across diagonally like that that's not going to get in my way? No. It'd actually look cleaner if I did it this way anyway, so let's do it like that. We'll connect these two. No. This one. Why do you keep connecting to the bottom one? I don't want you to connect to the bottom. I want you to connect to the top one. I want to connect this to this. Then I want to put a shaft in there. Then I'm going to go up one more. Two more. Finally, I'm going to put a belt from here to there. That means we'll deploy the fungus, and the bone meals are all running. Let's see what it looks like from the front. It's convoluted, and there's a lot of belts going in random places, but it's not as bad as it was in the first design. But now everything there is working. The only difference is I don't have the sorting worked out for this side for bone meal. This is for this to pull out those things. Oh, and this belt's not moving. Ooh, one more to figure out. Let me think here. I need to get a belt, a rotation from here to there. So if I do some more gearboxes. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Oh, I have more gearboxes. Excellent. Let's do a gearbox here. And let's rotate this one so that it goes like that. Put another gearbox there. We'll rotate that one downwards, but we need it to face this way. Can I just connect a shaft there, or is that going to be the wrong rotation? Yeah, that's the wrong rotation. And so that's simple to fix. All I need is to put in one more gearbox. Because the gearbox switches the rotational force. Okay, cool. So now this is emptying out of those. I'll have to put in some systems up here to grab all of the Shroomlights in the warp stem and sort them. My goal is to get them to come down here, and we'll put them into a storage on the front. That way we can just come over to the farm and grab the things that we're actually looking for. I may make it so that excess bone meal gets in there too, if I can figure out the best way to do that. But that is our Shroomlight farm. Off camera, I'm going to move this setup, make it look a little fancier, and put it right next to it. And so then we can have a place where we go to get more warped fungus if we want it. But right now I'm way over time. Those belts took me longer to figure out than I thought they would. But I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.